Hi guys, in this video, we'll be looking into how you can integrate React Native geolocation with Mapbox to track the location of the user and then stream it to your database as well as showcase that location to another user like this, which I have shown in this particular video. Right. So in the previous video, we discussed in depth about each and everything that you have to do to implement the same feature, but in React Native Maps, in Android, in Google Maps, as well as in Apple Maps. Right. So for Android, we saw for Google Maps, and then in iOS, we saw for Apple Maps. Okay. So let's see a small recap for that. Right. So I'm going to go here and then open the app again. So this is the apps. So I'm going to open that apps. And then what I'm going to do is, as you know, we are in the Android side, the location is going to be, I'm going to start playing the route. So once I start playing the route, the location of the user of wherever he has moved will be streamed. Okay. To the database. And then the same way, in this side, the location of wherever the user has gone, the driver has gone in the in this Android side, those location is now being streamed, or subscribe. This particular user, iOS user, has subscribed to the location changes there, and then we draw a polyline route over the map. Okay, so this is for the what I would say the React Native Map side. Now, in this video, we will be discussing about how you can do the same thing in Mapbox. The only difference is in Mapbox, the way we denote any geolocation data is via a concept called GeoJSON. So I'll be discussing each and everything required to do that in this particular video. So I assume that you have seen all my previous videos on GeoJSON series, where I would have discussed in depth about how you can install Mapbox in both Android and iOS. So please watch these videos and then come back to this one. Okay. So now we already have the required code set up here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go to app.js, and in the stacks, I'm going to call that particular component, and then let's see what's being shown in iOS. Okay, so I'll go here. The API key is wrong. So I'm just simply going to get that API. Okay, I got the API key. Now, if I go back to the app, animate to geolocation, those things are not required anymore. I'm going to comment those things out. Right. Okay. So now we got the Mapbox running properly in both Android and iOS. Right. Now, what is the next step? So the next step is to do the same thing that we did in the previous video, where we are going to animate the location of the user, but this time we are going to stream the location of the iOS user to Android user. Okay, so let's do that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the same code that we had here and literally copy them. Copy this. Okay, copy all this and then paste it here. Okay, so I need to get the geolocation library. So I'm going to get it from there like this, and then I also need to get the Supabase value. So I'm going to get the Supabase from there. I'm going to change this platform.os, because the Android user is going to subscribe to the changes, so it's going to be Android. And then the next one is, so if I scroll down, the update user ID, this one will be iOS. And then the user location will be 2, not 1. Okay. So, and then we also need the use effect. So use effect is not defined. So I'm going to also get the use effect. Right. Now comes the most important part, where the first thing we need to do is, we in the previous video, we got the get current position, right? So we updated the user coordinates. The same way, what we are going to do now is we are going to use these marker points. Okay, we are going to use these marker points and user coordinates. The user coordinates of latitude is present. Okay, the user. Okay, I think the user coordinates will also. Let's assume the user coordinates will be present. So we are going to use the GeoJSON format of user coordinates dot latitude and user coordinate longitude and latitude, because In Mapbox, the marker view, the first would be longitude and the second would be latitude. So the same way for this. Okay, let's do that. Let's save it and then let's go to the app. He's saying hotel is not found. That's true because we have to go out and then I think this one. What is this? Hotel. Okay, hotel.png. Where is this? Actually, I'm going to copy this. Why not? So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Okay, uh, paste it there and then use this. Okay, so we now have the like you can see we have the marker custom marker there, but I don't want it to be there. I will show you why. The next one is we want to show the location of the driver when he moves from one place to the other place. Okay. So in order to do that, what we can do is we can use a concept called polyline data. Okay. The same way, what we are going to do is we are going to get this polyline data. I'm going to copy this particular data structure. Okay. And then now the plan is to stream the values from iOS to Android, from iOS to the database. So that is already configured because in the geolocation.watch position, we get the coordinate values and then we stream it to the end user, to the database. That is the same. That's not going to change. But for the iOS part, what we have to do is when as we have subscribed to this particular changing values, this won't work anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this particular function or this particular GeoJSON value, which is a line string, and then pass these values there. So in the coordinates, it would be what? The first one would be longitude and the second one will be latitude. Okay. And then I will just simply add it like this. Okay. That is done. Now in the route coordinates, what I have to do, I have to simply go and then like I'll go here. Okay, sorry, this should be in a different way. This should not be in this way. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this particular value has to change. Okay, I will change it now. Now what we are going to do is in the set route coordinates, we also have the set polyline data. Okay, it is null. And then actually scroll okay, actually this particular value should not be added again and again. What we have to do is we have to change it here only. So I'm going to go here in okay, I got the idea now. So I'm going to change all these things. We'll keep it in this way, and then in here we are going to do something like return of these values, a return of these values. But in the set polyline data, it would be what? It would be this value entirely. This would be this values entirely. But with this, I will explain what I am doing so that you will understand. Okay, so I'll go here. Cons new routes equal to this. I will reuse it again and again here. Use it again and again here. Okay. So set routes, polyline, no need anymore. Payload not needed. And then okay. So I'll explain what is this and what what you also need to know. Right. So I'm going to here. I'll go here and close and reopen the app upload.shot. Let's go there. Okay, zoom to that location. Let's go there. And then now what we'll do, okay, set routes, set polyline data of new routes, return of routes. Okay, so okay, polyline data handle function is not required anymore. uh, console.log polyline data. Okay. Null. Now, as I said, we are going to stream the location from iOS to Android. Okay. We'll remove this not required anymore. Now we will go to this solution and then we will use simulate route. Let's see what happens. When you simulate the route, okay, I'm going to stop the simulation. Okay, I will go. Okay, so this is for Android. This is fine. Now let's check if this is working in iOS or not. So in the update iOS, update user location, and that's getting updated. Set route coordinates. No, this is not. So set route coordinates. Actually, this should be only for here, and then route coordinates. Set polyline data. The same set polyline data should be here. Set route coordinates. Okay, set route coordinates. Okay. Okay. Make route single route. Okay, it's moving, but we will need it to work properly. So what is not working here? So iOS set route coordinates, new routes of lat and long. Oh, sorry. This should be not this. It should be latitude and longitude only. So it should be latitude and longitude. And then coordinates set polyline data. Okay, I'll reload and check. Over here, similar to that. Okay, so the location is moving, but the route is not getting painted. So we are doing something wrong in this particular section, right? In the polyline data section. So in the set polyline data, the this particular values is not changing. So set routes date location user route. I think this is wrong. Uh, okay, I changed that, and then now if I go, okay, just simply use console.log latitude and then polyline data. Okay, polyline data, and then go back. Okay, so I'll close this, open it again. Okay, so it's saying the data couldn't be able because the format is incorrect. Okay, so I was able to find the problem. So the problem was in the previous video, what we did. So in the use effect, the marker is in the format of latitude and longitude. But in this Mapbox, it's not in that format. So as this is in GeoJSON, so the GeoJSON format is this, right? Type is feature collection. This is a line string, which is the polyline value. The coordinates are not in this fashion. Okay, the coordinates are like this. So for example, for normal RN maps, it would be like lat, long, what 1 and 1. But for Mapbox, actually, okay, this is let's take this in array of objects, right? So in this array of objects, we'll have lat is to 2 and long is to 2 again and again. But for what? But for Mapbox, it is literally an array. Inside that, another array, and then first is longitude and second is latitude, and then same one. First is longitude and second one is latitude. Okay, so you have to understand this. Slightly tough. So I have to change this particular value from payload dot this one to this format. Okay, then it will automatically work. So you have to understand this, and then now everything should be working as smooth as robot. Right now, if I tap on this and move further in, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here and then use make route and then simulator. Okay, so if I do that, if I use this, okay, so actually I need to go back and then in this side, if I scroll here the same way, the new routes, it's in this format, and then coordinates, new routes, all these things are there. Okay, for the so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reload this. Okay, so if I reload and if I go inside, like farther inside that, you can see a nice polyline is being drawn over the map. Okay, same way, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the location. The location is here, and from there to there. Okay, let's do that. Let's make a route and then simulate a route. You see what happens. So as the location has changed, okay, from here you can see a beautiful Strava style map is literally on the map. Now what I can do, I can go to Android, open this up. So I'll zoom out slightly. Okay, open this up, and then if I not this one. You open this, and then if I zoom in, you'll be able to see that this Android app will be able to follow whatever location is there. Yeah. For some reason, it's crashing. Yeah, the Android is emulator, right? Yeah, it's like this. So just okay. Then what the strategy is to change it up. So for iOS, we are going to use Android, and then for the same platform.os, we'll use iOS here. Sorry, iOS. Okay. Now let's open the app. Okay. Yeah, the Android is always like that. Okay, so it's tough to make it work, but that's what this is the same concept. For this is what you have to know. For RN maps, use this format. For Mapbox, you have to use this format. Okay, so actually that is the entire integration. So I'm going to comment this out. Okay, here clean up. This is how you upload it to Superbase, etc. Now the other things are for Strava, right? So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to open Chrome. In this section, I'm going to delete these two keys so that it's not misused. So I'm going to delete that. Delete and then tap on delete and enter that. It will be deleted. Next one is this. If I go to this particular page, you can see the designs of Strava would be here, and then they use the same orange color that I am using now. Okay. So when the user moves along the line, what happens is when the particular thing completes, you can see auto pause, etc. So what happens? The polyline is drawn over the map, and you can see they are using Mapbox themselves. Okay. Not to do that, you have to know more on that. You need to learn about the GeoJSON types. There are multiple types. You can see point, LineString, etc. Point we use for markers, and LineString we use for this exact drawing the routes over the map. Next one, we can also use Polygon, etc. The one more superb resource I use is called Turf.js, where it's so good that you can use it with Mapbox, etc. for doing a lot of calculations and different things. I used this in my previous previous videos on making Bezier curves, etc. to go from one continent to another continent. And then there's great circle, etc. It's a superb functional utility library which you can use. Yeah, so this is the implementation that I have done in both Android and iOS. But we all know that Android emulator doesn't work properly. If you test it in real device, it should work. And then one more tip that I can provide is if you want to know why this is crashing, right, you can simply use ADB logcat. That's what I use to debug the native crashes. So I'm going to open this up. Let's see what is happening. It works and then it crashes. I don't know why. So you can see let's scroll down. could not get deck sums. Okay. Say successfully loaded, but yeah, something like there is no logs at all. But yeah, like it would work if I create a new iOS simulator. This will work just as fine. Okay, so what I will do is I will share this particular source code with you. Not this one. This one. Sorry, not all this. This was my previous video source code. So I will share this source code with you. You can use this particular uh, code to make your own Strava clone, etc. So that concludes this React Native, geolocation, concepts with React Native maps and Mapbox. Okay, if you understand each and everything which I mentioned in my previous video, this video is so easy to do. Okay, the only thing you have to know is this particular concept of how the GeoJSON values work in Mapbox. That is the most important part, and the installation, etc. Okay, the previous video we discussed about the backend concepts like this, like how we are now streaming the values to what Supabase, but how can we use a more advanced solution to have millions and millions of users like our Strava does? Because ours is both write heavy and read heavy, so we have to use advanced concepts like Kafka, Redis, and then for analytics we have to use ClickHouse. We have to make sure that our database or our backend APIs don't crumble under pressure. Okay, so more than doing this front end side, once you have done this front end side, the toughest part is the back end one. So, and once you have finished the back end, you have to make some changes in the front end to accommodate it. So, being a full stack developer and knowing how each and every systems work from the front end to the back end would be inevitable in the near future. Okay, so I will see you in the next video.